welcome back. We've decided to do the show again.
We're back on. I don't want to say the air because we're on the interwebs, but we're back on.
We're back on. We took a little hiatus.
On air button.
Man, I've missed y'all. It's been too long.
I don't know if I've missed y'all, but what's up, buddy? Missed you.
Bye, me,
how long? Hi, ghostly voice in the background. Who was that?
I think that was
me. Y'all, my therapy told me so.
Now they're not answering.
Damn it. Speaking of ghostly Ferris, or something I got to tell you about at some point. Just me and you.
Uh-oh. I don't want to know. I already don't want to know. It's bad enough I'm recording this from inside of my freaking truck.
Yeah.
Because it's 80 million degrees in the damn garage. I'm uncomfortable. I keep disappearing into my background.
Our first episode back, season 5, and poor guy has to record like that.
Yeah, well. Yeah,
what are you going to do?
The show must go on.
Hopefully it'll get better. It's just too hot, dude. It was 107 yesterday. I think it was 103, 104, something like that today. I checked the weather about 15 minutes ago. It said it was 88 degrees, but I'm telling you, it feels like it's here where I live. We live right on the rim of Satan's asshole. It's hot. Okay, it's bad.
You need to pack up your parents and you guys move somewhere.
I still want to go to Montana. That'd be awesome.
I was gonna say, I thought the whole Montana thing was.
I thought you wanted to go to Oregon.
Oh, dude, Oregon. I'm gone. I'm back. Hi, I'm gonna go. Oregon. When we passed through, let's see, that was the weekend of June 2nd was when my aunt passed, and we went up to Washington and we passed through Oregon to get there. We drove. And Oregon was amazing. It was beautiful. The scenery was epic. The weather was perfect.
Nice.
I'm being told that we got to do the thing. So if y'all remember what the thing was, it's like, subscribe, comment, share this.
Yeah, good idea. Why don't you like it? Subscribe on it and comment on it, and yeah, all those things.
Share it. Do we still have a store?
Yeah.
We've been on hiatus for like 16 years.
It was closed down for rodent infestation. Fix that problem.
Well, real quick, we should mention we have another staff member joining us.
Yeah,
we do.
I'm so excited.
Say hi, you with the staff.
Say hi, Mrs. Staff.
I do not have staff, but I'm Ashley.
It's Ashley.
Yeah.
Y'all may remember she was a guest a while back with her lovely significant other. Lovely.
Yep.
I use that term wisely because
she was a guest on our Let's Get Vocal, which, may I mention, for season 5, we've decided to bring that bitch back.
Yes.
He's the B word.
And we're not talking about, he's not referencing Ashley. We're just throwing that out there, making sure that is clear.
Good catch, Brandon. Just make her feel welcome.
I want to make sure we all know and we're on the same page. Okay.
We're bringing back Let's Get Vocal. We have fun with that, and we hope it gets bigger.
I'm glad you did clarify that, because that woman's resourceful, and she already has my address. She can find y'all.
That's true.
I don't know why I keep disappearing into my background. It's driving me nuts.
I'm just glad we have a little more estrogen, especially estrogen that I like, to even out some of all of y'all's testosterone.
You were never alone. Brandon's always been here. Be quiet.
Jeez, Mary, it's like you totally forget that I've been around since like literally day one.
He doesn't like too well.
I'm so offended.
Ooh, look at that curvature in that arm. Check it out. He's trying to rebound from this.
I wasn't looking at it until you said to look at it.
What? Now I can't stop.
Little muscle poking out of his
Well.
arm. Check him out. Whoa, whoa.
Oh, dude, bro. You talking about me? I ain't got no fucking muscle, bro. I have. Oh man. Okay, so pre-show, right? We were talking about it. It's recorded. Ferris, you hit the nail right on the head, dude. The job I've been doing the last 2 years, so, bro, I've lost 35 fucking pounds.
Damn. I wish I could lose 35 fucking pounds.
Me too.
35 fucking, bro, 35 pounds
Actually,
of muscle.
I just like to
dude.
lose 35 pounds.
I think I found the 35
pounds of muscle. There's a wasp on my boob. I mean, a moth on my boob.
Wasp.
Get out of
A
here.
wasp.
Not a wasp, a moth.
That knowledge
We gotta-
stings.
We have a
Like, you're
wasp's
smarter than
nest.
that.
We have a wasp's nest at
Dog
work
walks by,
right
"Look, Mommy,
outside of
unicorn."
the room that I work in, and I've got wasps on the brain. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I've lost like 35 pounds, and the majority of it was muscle. It's embarrassing. I'm fucking twiggy. It's gross.
Well, it's
Twiggy.
different because you must have lost some of that in the last 6 weeks that I haven't been on this show. So it's a little different.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Plus, I got
I,
hot and all that stuff, and
Well,
Even your
here's
head
the thing.
smaller.
So, I'm way back here. Thanks. How's that? Is that better?
in
Right,
honor of
yes.
Beetlejuice.
Hi. No, I purposely lost a little bit of weight before we went on vacation because I went from being somewhat in shape before I took the job to then I lost a shit ton of muscle and got skinny fat. And then I decided, well, I can't see my obstacles anymore. So I tried to shed some weight before vacation, and that's where the other 15 pounds came from. So the job in and of itself, I lost roughly about 20-ish pounds, the majority of it being muscle, and then I gained a little bit of fat in my belly because I was eating like shit and working real crap hours and whatnot. But now that I'm back to doing my old job, I can get back to being in shape again because I'm back in the classroom teaching people to do the things that I left the room for to go do for the last 2 years that I no longer want to do anymore. Why I live this life, I don't know.
Well, Brandon, you still have shape. Don't beat yourself up. It's just your shadow looks more like a pole on the ground.
I mean, and the midsection is still a little more rotund than normal. But
Okay, a pregnant pole.
All right, round is still a shape.
Pregnant pole. Put a flag on that bitch.
Gonna flag this conversation.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Lord. Well, we literally, as a podcast producer, we literally have nothing planned for those out there watching. So we're just gonna let loose. Yeah, and yeah, it's a free for all.
We're gonna bring it back to our basics because we kind of got weird on a couple of seasons, and I feel like we just need to get back to us again. Right?
We do have
Plus
one
Ashley.
cool thing though.
What?
Yes.
Other
Let's get
than
vocal.
the fact that Ashley is with us. No. Guess what Lynn sent Ferris earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Bum, bum, cha, cha.
I bet Nick knows because he's got inside track to that stuff.
I don't know it, but I know she did one.
Yeah.
Well, then it's a fantastic thing that Mary is asking one of us to guess, Nick. So go ahead. What's your guess, buddy?
I already know.
Because I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
She's back to the question of the week by Linda.
Yes.
Linda's question of the week is back.
Hi guys, it's time for Linda's question of the week. So, this week I'm wondering, with all the advertisements that I'm hearing about back to school, people are already starting to post pictures of their kids. Just wondering if you guys had a favorite teacher while growing up, whether it be elementary school, high school, even college. Just wondering if there's anyone that stands out in your mind who was either particularly nice, just a great teacher, you learned so much from them, or maybe even lit a passion within you to pursue something. Okay, let's hear their name and why you think they were a great teacher, and give them a little shout out. Thanks, guys.
I like it.
Oh, beautiful. Favorite
I can't-
teacher.
I like it.
Can you remember
got
that
one.
long ago?
Well,
Oh! My heart hurts for you for that insult.
all right. Well,
I got mine.
Brandon, you got one? Who?
I got one. Mr. G.
Mr. G.
Mr. G. Mr. Gunderson. Mr.
Sounds
G.
like a pedophile.
Good Lord, Ferris. Way to ruin a special moment and a special memory, you son of a bitch!
I'm joking,
Oh.
Mr. G. If you're out there still, I
hate
apologize.
you, Ferris.
Still.
You suck.
I mean, how old is Brandon?
Not
I mean,
you,
this guy may
Mr.
not
G.
be alive. I'm just trying to make sure.
So what?
I don't know if
what's-
he is or not.
Mr. G.
Yes.
What is it about Mr. G?
So I
What's the
first
spot about?
Can I talk, Ferris? God bless America.
Only if
Jiminy
he stops
Christmas.
interrupting you.
Exactly.
That's usually my job.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm just waiting. So I first met Mr. G in 4th grade, and then he was one of my teachers all the way through 8th grade. And he was the band teacher, and my go-to instrument in band was trombone, but ultimately I learned like pretty much all of the brass instruments, trumpet, tuba, baritone, all that good jazz. And Mr. G was basically my music teacher from 4th grade through 8th grade. The very first time I ever made honor band and all that kinds of good stuff was with Mr. G. And then all through high school, for our big shows, the big productions that we would do with band, Mr. G was there and he would watch. So it was kind of like I grew up with him, ever since 4th grade all the way through, my senior year of high school. Whenever there was a big band performance going on, I knew Mr. G was going to be there, and it was awesome. And he, in my opinion, is probably the most influential person that had a role in playing into my interest in music. So if it wasn't for Mr. G, I probably never would have gotten into music, and then I wouldn't be here with y'all today because I wouldn't have given 2 shits about Smule. I wouldn't have looked for something like Smule. So he was very influential in a lot of parts of my life. He was awesome.
Wonderful. Good job,
awesome.
Mr. G.
Don't
Thanks
know
to
where he's
you.
at.
Thanks to you. You got these 2 handsome guys together in the podcast.
Oh, good Lord. I remember we did a field trip to Great America, and my dad was one of the chaperones, and they had this like giant like slingshot kind of ride thing, right? So my dad and Mr. G go on this ride together. It only fits 2 people. They're laying down on their bellies, right, on this, I don't know what it's made out of or whatever, but this cable pulls them back up and up and up and up and up, and it's like 6 stories or some shit like that, dude. It's way up there, and they give the order to pull the little rope thing, and I don't know what Mr. G said to my dad. My dad has told me what he said a bunch of times. I can't remember. Anyways, Dad pulls the thing, and the way he recounts the story, he's like, "Man, dude, you never would have known it by looking at Mr. G, because he wasn't like the biggest of guys. I thought he was gonna snap my fucking arm." Because they're just like deathly afraid of they're falling to their death, basically. Right? My dad, he's a pretty big, strong dude. So that's funny. That was
That's
it was
cool.
good times. Good times. I was at the ground watching it, of course. Like y'all are crazy. What about you, Nick?
Favorite teacher. I don't know if I,
I
have
mean
a
that Brandon guy is pretty cool.
that one online instructor.
Yeah, exactly. I like that guy.
Brandon and I are back.
Oh yeah, it's season 5, and we're excited.
Well, why wouldn't we be?
Now that is a good question.
I mean, last season we introduced Let's Get Vocal.
Hell yeah, we did, and we had some epic guests.
It's always fun with Coast to Coast.
You know it.
So since it went well, guess what, my friend?
We're gonna keep it going.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
So if you're a Smuler,
Or maybe you're an artist out to make it big.
or maybe you already made it and you're all famous.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah,
Well,
right.
It's possible.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, buddy. Why not?
Anyways, come join us on the show.
Have some good old wholesome banter and a whole lot of music and a good conversation.
All you got to do is comment "Let's Get Vocal" on this ad post, and we'll get with you to add you to the schedule.
And we can't wait to have you on the show. So come on now, leave a comment, and let's get vocal. Yeah.
Favorite teacher. My 5th grade teacher, Mr. McKenzie, he was pretty damn cool.
Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
What was so cool about Mr. Mackenzie?
No, he's just a pretty cool guy.
That's
used to-
pathetic.
He used to do a thing right before lunch. We had to do a word find, and the first 3 or 4 finishers, like the first place dude gets $1, the next dude is 75, and the next dude 50 cents. I got the $1 quite a few times. I was good at word searches.
Nice.
Um,
Do you still do word searches to this day?
$1 was a lot back then.
yeah, it was.
I mean, we're talking what, 1945?
Roughly, give or take a decade or two.
Y'all assholes.
I did it to Brandon. I had to do it to you too, Dick. I'm muting again.
No, I had there was a lot of cool teachers. So many teachers, can't think of them. Mr. Matthias in high school, math teacher, that guy was cool.
Matthias.
Mm-hmm.
What's with all the dude teachers y'all liking? What's up with that?
I don't know, dude.
Well, okay, Ferris.
When a majority of teachers are female, that's kind of. I mean, I'm not. Look, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
More men need to
I'll
teach.
bite Ferris. Mrs. McClure, my 3rd grade teacher, she was awesome. I can't remember why, but I remember her name.
I had a teacher that was like had a crazy body.
Yeah, I had a notable teacher like that too, Miss Prentice
I
in high
had-
school.
Yeah, Miss Spencer.
Now
was
we're really
that
getting to
one
the answer
when I
she
was in
wanted.
high school. When I was in high school, that was Miss Spencer.
That's what Linda was trying to get out of you too.
Everybody was
What
in
the
love
heck was
with
her
Miss
name?
Spencer
I
in
totally
high
forgot her
school.
name. I think she was like a French teacher or something.
Did you ever look her in the eyes?
No.
Would you even remember what her face looked like?
No, absolutely not.
See?
I mean,
I do remember this
No.
teacher though, because I had her for a study hall, and some kid thought it'd be funny because she had a TV set up to let us watch a movie during study hall, and some kid thought it'd be funny when she wasn't looking to switch it out with a porn flick.
oh, good Lord.
So when she hit play, there was just fucking going on, and she's standing
Yeah,
in front of TV going, "Oh my god,
1970.
no, no,
In
no!"
1970, they were black and white and gritty.
It wasn't in 1970. It was in the 90s. You ass
Oh,
licking,
it was it 90s? Oh,
hairy butthole,
gotcha.
dingleberry slurping.
What about you, Mary?
Hey, Brand.
Which part of the 90s, Nick?
I think that was my junior that happened. I think it was 93.
93, the year Jurassic Park came out. Awesome.
Why would you know that?
I was 7.
I was 3.
I was
I
12.
fucking 7.
Shut up. Let's not talk about
Okay,
that.
all of y'all are making me feel old now.
Stop your fucking math, Brandon.
I was 12.
I got an
Dang.
idea. Let's do some mathing. You were old.
What is that? 7th grade for me? 6th grade? 7th grade? Yeah.
What about you, Ferris? Favorite teacher?
I thought at 7th grade, I thought porn was corn with a parasite or something.
Yeah, right.
I didn't really have I've been thinking over here. I haven't really
Your
had
wrist fucking hurt, man.
I've had notable teachers that made an impact. Sure. Like Miss Prentice was one of them. She was an excellent English teacher. Despite the fact that she was extremely good looking and right out of college, right? She really favored literature, and she had a good way of teaching it. And me being a writer on the side, I really that's some good memories there with that classroom. But honestly, if we're talking teacher just in general and not pigeonholed into a facility like a school, I'd have to say my dad. My dad has been my best teacher in my entire life.
Oh, you always do that.
Mine's
What?
not.
That's
You
cheating.
always come up with some out of the box, like super sentimental thing to say.
I'm just
fair.
Yeah,
It's
not. It's
He likes to
true.
sound like he's just this really great guy.
I'm not. I'm because of my dad. Literally, Mary, you know, my dad is.
Okay, your dad is freaking awesome.
He's always
I
there.
have his number in my phone.
And you never use it. Even if he's an asshole, right? When he's teaching it, like he just here in the last decade, when we're around fixing something, I'm helping him, he's helping me, whatever. He's got this way of kind of losing his patience because he knows exactly what has to be done, right?
And why the hell wait on you to figure it out?
I always give him
you're still
hell.
an idiot, right? Yeah.
Right. I'm still an idiot. I mean, a lot of things he's taught me he didn't take, but he's got to be probably my best teacher that I've ever had. Because it's what he does. And I do the same thing with my kids. I don't let a teaching moment slip by me. And I get that from him.
I had some cool freaking substitute teachers. Mr. Foles, he would
They're
go and
all
hang out.
cool.
If
Mrs. Porter.
if we're talking high school, Mrs. Norris was my English teacher, and she got a bad rap. Nobody liked her for whatever reason, probably because she didn't put up with our shit. But I liked her a lot. I thought she was awesome. I learned a lot from her. If we're going all sentimental, like Ferris is doing, I would probably have to say my grandpa. Both my grandpa Steve and my great grandpa Dunlop. Massively influential. But as far as greatest teacher in the term of, school system, the indoctrination program, if you will, Mr. G.
Yeah,
Welcome to your indoctrination.
In 6th grade, I had he was the band and orchestra teacher in middle school, and Mr. Case, and he had one class where he taught guitar, and it's the first time I even picked up a guitar. And without him, I don't know if I would have gone into writing and all that stuff musically and all that. So I guess if I had to choose an academic type teacher, then yeah, I'd say Mr. Case, just because of my music stuff. That's my passion. So anyway, moving on.
I think
Anybody
since
else?
Ashley is,
I can't for the life of me, I can't remember any other band teacher's name that I had, and I had a few. Ashley, who's your favorite teacher?
Let's see. Okay, so I went to.
Notice I said whose, as in who is, not who was.
She ought to remember these very well because it was like
you're
yesterday.
the baby of the group now, Ashley.
Yes.
That just means he's jealous.
Yeah, he is. I know he is. But I went to a K through 12 school, so all of our teachers were like in our lives your whole K through 12.
Yes.
That's weird.
Oh, that would have drove me nuts. I couldn't do that.
Like my kindergarten teacher taught my sisters, my brothers, and her name was Miss Flowers. And she was the cutest woman in the whole entire world. And she was so nice. And I was like the little kid in the corner that was like quiet, never talked. But she got me out of my shell. And I mean, she watched me grow up.
She?
I don't know. But yeah, I would say Miss Flowers.
Well, that's easy because you only apparently had one teacher.
Right.
I mean, I had a lot of teachers.
Just kind of thinking that.
Mary, do you
I
remember your
understand.
teachers?
Yes, I remember all my
Do
teachers
you
because
remember?
haha.
Oh,
It's like
dude.
Ashley, the majority of the time that I was in school, I was in a K through 12 school as well. So my teachers taught my cousins and my siblings, and unfortunately to my niece, they taught my niece as well and called her Mary all the
Good
time.
Lord, was your teacher working until she's in the 90s?
Well, I mean,
My typing teacher, Miss Brooks, she was actually my mom's typing teacher as well. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Wow.
She was
wow.
That's the secret to a long life. Be a
Do
typing
people
teacher.
just not retire where you live or what?
I don't know. She was just, I don't know. We had
I mean,
computer
I
class as well, but we
understand.
had to take typing. So
I understand if they don't retire because I'll be able to retire about 13 years after I die. But still, like, come on.
Mm.
but
So
anyway,
who was
if I
your
had
favorite?
to if I had to pick a favorite because of something that they ignited in me or some desire or some whatever, it would probably be my third grade teacher. And yes, she passed away. But
At work.
her name was Miss Sasser. No.
I'm sorry.
She was one of those teachers that she loved Australia. She'd lived in Australia and had one of her children was born in Australia. And if you could get her to talk about Australia or sing songs from there, then you wouldn't have to take the test that she wanted you to take.
Is that why?
Now
Is
we
that where
know.
your
Yeah.
obsession with Australia came
Now we
from?
know.
That was kind of where my love for Australia started and my desire. That's where the bucket list of I have to go to Australia and see what it's all about. So yeah, that started that. But if there's a guy, then it would have been one of my best friend's brothers. His name was Mr. Chandler. And no. No offense, Mr. Chandler. If you see Mr. Chandler's not watching this, I promise. But on top of being our social studies and government economics teacher, he was also in charge of the Beta Club. And Beta Club was you put on plays and you sang and you performed.
Glee Club.
Kind of.
Mary, your third grade teacher has more of a chance watching this show than he does, so calm down. It's not a big deal.
But yeah, he kind of gave me the confidence to get on stage and not be nervous and do what I do in front of a bunch of people. Cool. So
I have a piggyback question to that for those of y'all that can answer
Oink.
it. So y'all talking about K through 12 versus schools that are split up based on grade level or whatnot. I had been exposed to both, mainly because one was a small school, K through 12, like rural area, where like Ashley attended, where everybody knew everybody, and it's like a big family community, whatever, versus a school that had over 3,000 kids in it. So my question is, if you haven't experienced that, what do you think your younger self would have preferred if you went to one of the other exclusively, right? And if you have experienced that, like myself, which do you prefer? It's the same question, but you have to kind of use your imagination for the former.
I would have rather the rural small town, everybody's there.
K through 12 thing?
I've been to both, and I purposely wanted to go back to the K through 12 because the other one was crazy. So
Same.
Yeah.
I don't have any experience with a K through 12. However, up until second grade, I was in private schools. The math that I was doing in first grade, I did not revisit again until I was in sixth grade.
Yeah.
So having gone to private school, literally like it was a private preschool, kindergarten, first grade type deal, right? The other kids, this is going to sound so bad and egotistical, but there's really no other way to put it. The other kids didn't catch up to where I was, like I said, until about sixth grade. If I could go back, I would have preferred to stay in private school because I feel as if I would have gotten a much better education than I did. I feel as if my education is pretty shit because although I consider myself to be a somewhat intelligent individual, I know that there is an immense amount of room for growth into what I could have been capable of had I been able and been fortunate enough to continue down that private school road. It just wasn't in the cards.
Can I piggyback? Sorry, Ferris.
I just have a quick response to my own question. I have a unique look on that because I went to both, and I started out entirely from kindergarten to freshman year in high school. I was in big schools, inner city schools, lots of kids, major diversity, that kind of thing. So I was used to it. I had to say that because that's a little caveat. And when I went
metal detectors at the doorways of the entrances.
That didn't happen until my last year, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I had to go to a smaller school because I switched parents. Right, I was at my dad's house and I went to my mom's house, whatever, split family, and it was a huge culture shock for me because immediately I was popular, whereas in the other school I wasn't. Okay, so that kind of explains why I have this opinion about that. I preferred the bigger school because I had my close friends that we kept to ourselves, and I still was exposed to the diversity that kind of helped me be who I am now as far as personable with other people. I can understand what the backgrounds, things like that. I feel like if I'd gone to a smaller school where I wouldn't have that. And I'm not saying that people that go to small schools have a natural prejudice. I'm not saying that because it depends on the school. But let's face it, when you go to a hick town school, you don't get a lot of exposure to other backgrounds, right? So that was one thing. Plus the education side was way better, believe it or not, at a bigger school because they focused on curriculum rather than sports. At the small school, it was complete opposite. I mean, if you're a football player, baseball player, your ticket was written, right? You didn't have to do anything academically. And I didn't really like that because I was more an intellect growing up in school because I was more shy, I guess, with the group that I was with, the little small 5-6 people we had.
See, I find that interesting because here it's kind of the opposite. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I like what you touched on there. You said you felt as if it was more sports driven at the smaller, more rural type of school than it was at the big school. And for me, it wasn't necessarily a super small town, but it's a pretty small town. I mean, when I was growing up, where I grew up, there were only like 10, 12,000 people. There were 2 elementary schools to choose from. There were 2 middle schools to choose from, and there were initially 2 high schools, but then there became a 3rd high school. And they were big. They were big schools, right? Like my high school, we had, I want to say like 3,700 kids or some shit like that. Big, but very, I mean, crazy sports driven, massively sports driven for both middle school and high school. Elementary school, not so much. It was all pretty much curriculum. But I mean, shit, dude, the only reason why I passed Algebra 2 my senior year is legitimately because my baseball coach was my Algebra 2 teacher. I had scholarships to college that was riding on baseball at the time. And he told me straight up, he's like, dude, you show up to the final and I'll make sure that you at least pass the class with a D. Because I was at like 22%. I just did not understand the math. So I find it interesting that for you, where you're at, it's opposite, kind of.
Well, it's demographics, right? I mean, I think in the education system based on each institution. I mean, it depends on what that community holds near and dear to them. Like you get a small school and the whole community comes together. Sports bring people together. I'm not knocking that. I love football and all that, but after about a month of being at school, I realized really quickly that because of my new popularity and the fact that I was intelligent and I was smart for a freshman, right, in high school, I was ahead of a lot of the kids there. And I was a long-haired nerd. You don't want to see pictures of that, I promise.
I want to see that.
I
damn-
do.
I would
No,
love
you
to
don't.
see pictures there.
Yes.
It was down to my ass crack. That's how long it
I
was.
want to see that shit.
We need
It's important.
pictures.
I look
Mhm.
like a skinny, long-haired dwarf. I mean, it's not pretty to look at.
That's
I mean,
perfect.
Like a
Let's throw you in the
I
Lord of
would
the
love
Rings or the
that.
Hobbit
Mhm.
movies, and you're good to
Yeah,
go.
with a little top knot and everything, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that and
Making me want to grow my hair back.
this school, I mean, when I say they're sports driven, they won state years and years in a row against
Nice.
schools that were like 5A, like big schools, versus they were a 1A school beating 5A schools with
Yep.
a football squad of 3 times the amount of players, right? That's how good they were.
That was my
So
baseball team.
they just didn't worry about the academics so much, and I wasn't getting that education. And somebody that young at 14, 15 years old, like, hey, mom, I feel dumb at this school, even though I'm smart, because I'm not getting anything, So I went back to my dad's house, and I went to the same school that I did before. And unfortunately, I had gotten lazy a little bit because I didn't have to do nothing at the other school. So anyway, that's time another
rubbed
story.
off on you.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
did.
like it's going
Performance
to be
went
that
down.
way because where the little school's at, there ain't how many good teachers are going to go live there and go to a little school.
That's true. That's true.
They're all going to be in the city.
Most of them, they go get their
there.
degree and they come back to the same small town or whatever they do it. And nowadays, you
Mhm.
can get online for the most part.
So
Anyway,
those kids got to bank on sports. Otherwise, they got nothing else to bank on.
Well,
That's what I said,
That's
I'm
the
my
only way they're
little,
going to get out of their small little ass town.
Mm-hmm.
my little 1A school that was K through 12, when I left it and came back, before I was able to come back, my parents decided they liked not having to pay for private school. And my older brother and older sister were both out. So
you got the
they
shaft.
said, they said, if you want to go back to the private school, you're going to have to come up with a way to pay for at least half of your tuition and half of your little brother's tuition. So I went to the principal, who liked me because, I'm me.
Who doesn't like you, Mary?
Oh,
Right, exactly.
Mm.
and
I can make her nervous. I know one person. Go ahead.
Shut up.
Nick, we got a whole show on schools, man.
Good Lord.
This is awesome.
Next.
Thanks, Linda.
Fine. Anyway,
I like it.
I got a little job on the side at the school that paid
Bet you did.
75% of my tuition and 75% of my little brother's tuition. And I think I got a great education. And I also kept stats for the baseball team, who won state championships multiple times.
Outstanding.
That was on the corner of what and what?
Ferris, I'm going to knock you out.
Mama
I'm going
said
to text
knock
your
you
daddy.
out.
That's the same
No,
thing
y'all,
in
look,
my
that same
head.
thing.
Mary is not
Mama
okay.
knock
Mary
you
is not
out.
like that. I
Okay.
just joke with her because she gets all flustered. So she's very, very decent woman. Okay.
As
Move
far
along.
as
Hey, if you want to go ahead and tell on yourself, go right ahead. I'm trying to clean
Oh,
it up.
boy, here we go.
Clean up on aisle 7.
Oh,
Thank you.
good Lord.
Speaking of cleanup, didn't you have a Ferris question?
Oh, clean up. That's good. Good segue. I like that. So I do have a question.
Wow.
So we still going to kind of revisit it probably. We have another kind of separate show that we do, Beans, Bullets, and Band-Aids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in there, we've talked about multi-use items, this, that, and the other that you can pack in a bug out bag, things like that. I'm not going to get into the weeds of that. If you want to go look at the episodes we've done, then go watch them. But there'll be more to come. My question is an item that is multi-use. Okay, stay with me.
Okay.
That I think of, that I actually keep in my first aid kit in my vehicle, and the one we have in my office is not very traditional, but it's very good for the uses that I foresee having to use it for, and that's a tampon. So
Oh, absolutely.
okay. Yeah. So my
100%.
question is actually for the ladies here with that. I knew y'all would agree with that because I think me and Nick, it came up Mary reminded me. It
Oh,
came up
dude,
in our conversation.
you could use a tampon for so many fucking things.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You
So
get shot. You get shot. You can use it to stop the bleeding.
one thing that I know that has always an issue, and actually a TikTok video reminded me of this. It was hilarious. This woman's all hot and sweaty. It's 110 out and whatever. She's out. She's giving this video. It's like she's all sweaty.
I feel
got
her
the
pain.
food. Yeah. So my question for you ladies is: Would
I don't.
a
feel it.
tampon help with the boob sweat and all that stuff? Like when you're out partying, or if it's really hot in summer.
Dude, that makes sense. That would totally work because you know what?
100%.
There's a double benefit to that.
You're not a female. Let them answer
No,
first.
but it's a benefit
He's
for
got the
everybody.
moves.
See, because not only is it absorbing their sweat under there, but when it does, they're gonna swell up, which is gonna lift.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
Nick
But
knows.
do they also? Does it
The new
also
Wonder
Get it,
Bra.
Nick.
Does it lift and
It
separate?
gets all swelled up. Hey, it'd be a good protection weapon too. Like in a bar when you're dancing, some guy hits on you,
Oh.
just pull that thing out, slap him upside the head with it. All that water just goes everywhere.
Well, you want to keep a bloody
Yes.
one around for that.
Yes, because
Okay.
in post-apocalyptic times, we're all going to be hanging out dancing in a fucking bar.
With tampons.
I said, don't worry about the bug out aspect of it.
it.
Don't worry about the bug out aspect of it. I'm just strictly saying, like now you could use it for that. Am I wrong, ladies?
No, I think
You
you're right.
are right.
If I had thought of that back in the day, I probably would have tried it.
I mean, you could put one under each and then one right between, and
Then
Just
when it
soak
gets
it all
full, you
up.
just wring it out and then put it back.
And Ferris, you could put one right in the crack of your butt. So
I could. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
could, like, when I'm working outside, it's really hot. I could just anchor that sucker to my belt loop with the string. It's got a string and everything. You can tie it off like an anchor, and then it catches all that crack sweat. But the problem is, I'd have to be careful when I go mowing because that sucker might slip. Might be an issue.
Wow.
Brandon, you said it was a great multi-use item. Now, come on.
I'm carrying tampons everywhere now. Just FYI.
Nosebleeds, quick clot.
Oh God, fire starter. I mean, you know.
Dry, non-used. It can't be used to start a fire. Come on.
Good for keeping the gerbils in.
God,
Oh,
Oh,
I thought
God.
just because we
might
got
make
the
it
season
through,
2 background.
I
Y'all
thought
didn't- y'all-
we might
y'all
make it
actually
through an
thought-
episode
no,
without
you
the
thought that?
gerbils.
You really
I
thought
would-
that, Mary?
Well,
Really?
we were about 30 minutes in, and I was like, "No gerbils yet."
When you brought up
Maybe.
the ass crack slopping up the sweat thing, you didn't think he was gonna say something. I mean, anything close to butt, gerbils are gonna come into it.
With Nick, yeah.
I
Well,
blame Mary on that, Brennan. That's all Mary. I didn't bring that up.
I quit. First episode, season fucking 5. God.
so
that's a wrap. That's it. There's nothing else after that.
are we excited for this Keep Less Vocal going? I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm actually super excited for?
Cheese?
More TikToking.
TikTok.
I thought you were going to say cooler weather. Notice I didn't say colder weather for a reason.
I wish you would have said colder weather. That's like my favorite country song
I
ever.
know that that's one of your favorite country songs ever. But it made you think
turkey.
of it anyway, didn't it?
Oh, it sure did.
I know.
I wonder who had a hand in teaching you some of those tricks. Oh wait, never mind.
So other than Mary, nobody answered my question the other day in the group. Do you guys know Bobby Mackey,
No,
country singer?
No.
no.
Really? He's been country singer for like 40 years, and he's got his own country singing
That's
club.
probably why I don't know him.
Exactly.
Well, he was on the episode of Ghost Adventures. His club is haunted.
I'm not going there.
Why not? It's a country club. Let's go.
No,
You could
it's
two-step.
haunted.
You have to go in the attic.
No, you'd have to pay me a lot.
Well,
How much?
A lot.
Right. I'll throw
Oh,
some
wow.
money in.
Enough to retire.
Negative Ghost
don't-
Rider.
I
Yeah,
don't
right?
do the ghosts and the ghouls and fucking demons and shit.
You're the one that got the little things
I
out.
don't want to talk about
Yeah.
it.
You can bring those with you.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Notice, did you guys all hear that Ashley was so quick on her feet? She said negative Ghost Rider,
Yeah, I know. I let
not
it
like
go.
Houston, we
I
have
let
a
it go.
problem or something. Like,
Nope. Nope.
Ashley, Brandon loves ghosty little ghostals. He likes
Oh, really?
the ghost
No.
stories. He
Nope.
wants to. He said he wanted to take me on a trip to the Isle of Dolls.
No, you're the one that found that damn article, you sicko.
Is he the one that's going to be screaming like a girl? Because I would love to hear it.
He gets upset with me because all those places I want us to go at like 2 a.m. He's like, "Why is it always 2 or 3 a.m?"
Dude, it's always
be
3 o'clock in
3.
the morning. You know
Yeah.
what they say about 3 o'clock in the morning? And I'm not going to bring it up. Mary already knows where I'm going with this, and I'm not
Yep.
even going to finish it. No.
Well,
Yep.
I want to
why I go
go to that
why I go to
grave
bed
over
earlier
here
than
with the
3.
hellhounds, but they say that they're watching it closely. They don't want people going in there no more.
In other news, I heard through the rumor mill that the government had confirmed the existence of aliens.
I didn't even pay attention to that. I was busy paying taxes.
I saw a news article about
I mean,
that.
honestly, if you look, we've had this conversation in my real life, right? At least a dozen times with people. And if you didn't think aliens existed, where have you been? That's
Right.
not news.
Right.
I mean, and now they're a little bit, they're crawfishing a little bit, they being the government, saying that everything you see in the air is actually military. 99% of it's military craft. Okay, that they have gotten from alien whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
95%,
yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
And that may be
Whatever.
true.
We don't
That
want
may
to
be
get
true.
taken down on the very first episode of season 5.
You know, I was getting lost in all that stuff for a while, and I had to get out of it because do you realize how many different things are going on? Normally,
Too
Fires
many.
in
one
Hawaii.
stupid crazy thing, but nowadays it's like everything that there could be is all at one damn time.
Well, you know what's funny is the Maui fires, whatever, and there's a lot of conspiracies. But when is it not a okay? So does it become not a conspiracy when you've got just about everybody that has access to social media on the ground over there saying something's up because they're seeing it in their own eyes? Something's
Ferris,
up.
I have a question for you about that. Were you the
Okay.
one? Did you send me a video, Ferris, about the dude that was analyzing the damage post incident in Hawaii? I'm wondering if you
did I
sent
send
me.
it to you? I know I've seen a
I'm
bunch of
wondering
it.
if you sent me one, or if I just happened upon one the other day on TikTok. Anyways, the general premise was, dude was talking about he was analyzing the video that was going on. He's like, look, this fire got so hot that it melted the alloy of the wheels on these cars, and you could see where the metal had like leaked onto the asphalt and everything, right? And then he shows a screenshot saying that those things reached their melting point at like 12,000 degrees or some shit like that. I can't remember the actual number, so forgive me if I'm mistaken. But then he looked up the melting point of asphalt, and it was like 300 something degrees. He's also, how come these alloy wheels are melting into the asphalt, but the asphalt's absolutely fucking perfect, and the paint is even still there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you might be onto something, buddy.
Here's what I know for sure. I didn't send that to you because the more you described it, that wasn't me. You just read across it. But I have seen a lot of them. And what's interesting to me is that two things. I don't know if everybody on the call knows about that, the Maui thing with the fire and everything. But basically, it was a straight line wind. A hurricane basically skipped this island, hit another island, which I didn't see any damage from a hurricane there. And straight line winds affected this thing so much where it caused wildfires in the town, like where all the people live, and one of the most richer areas of Maui, like the more wealthy.
How much
And
damage did this hurricane do? Because this is the first I've heard about.
I didn't. I don't know. There's no. Literally, it's been saying there was a hurricane, but there's no footage of any damage or anything like that. So, in other words, that's just where the wind came from. That was the explanation that I initially heard.
That's not fishy at all.
Right. So the projected body count was, I think, 1,500, because they're still searching. They're not finding bodies.
They're finding ash.
Yeah, because there was no response, and I'm all over the place, but basically there was no response during the event. Like, they would not let people get in there.
About that.
There's no I mean, government didn't show up. The only people that showed up were FEMA, and I don't think National Guard even showed up there.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, that's who it was, and they were busy doing other things. So anyway, there's a lot of this and that about what happened, but to me, there's a land grab. What I understand, hold on, Brad, there's a land grab, real estate grab. Go ahead. I'm your best teacher now. Okay, say it, because I'm letting you speak with your hand up.
Thanks. Thanks. I love how you mentioned FEMA. For my class right now, I'm teaching them about reading body language and micro expressions and some linguistic pattern analysis and
How to be a creeper.
deceptive indicators and all that kinds of shit. Not saying that, they're going to be human lie detectors, because there's no such thing as a human lie detector, but they can pick up on deceptive clusters, and they're getting pretty damn good at it. We watched a news clip that had come out. We watched it yesterday, and it was from 2 days prior. So what's that, Sunday or whatever? The main lady, I can't remember her name, for FEMA, she was talking about the incident response to Hawaii. And the funny thing, the thing that cracked me up, was she's all, yeah, we spoke with the president and the administration, and we got permission to come out. And I was flabbergasted. Permission to go out? That's your whole fucking existence. What do you need presidential permission for? Nobody from the media that was covering it asked in the entire fucking deal. Like, what do you need government approval to go do your job for?
Well,
that just
Criswell,
blew my
is that
mind.
who you're talking about?
I don't know their name. I
have a contact with FEMA that I can call another time and find out more, maybe tomorrow. But I think that there's a skeleton crew that is activated when there's a natural disaster without approval, like inspectors and ground zero, boots on the ground first kind of people. It's a small crew, because we went through that with Katrina. Can't even say a word.
Yeah.
Get out of my mouth. Anyway, and they initially sent people down, but they couldn't get into the areas because it was so flooded and all that. But they were on the outskirts. They were there ready to assess and all that and help. It wasn't until it was declared a natural disaster that gave the authority for the federal government to go in and do that. You got to keep in mind that the states have the power until the federal government gets approval from the government, the way it's supposed to work. Wait for the governor and then go in. So that could be it, but I know that it's not, because they are not letting people in the area.
Exactly.
They're not letting.
And yet she was claiming that there were like somewhere between 350 and 500 FEMA people there doing their job. And this and that and the other.
That was one of the things that one of the social media creators was saying, that they say they all these people, but we don't see them. They're not here.
The blonde-headed chick on TikTok that you saw?
It wasn't on TikTok. It was an actual press conference, and we were watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, I meant Ferris.
I
know who you're talking about. Okay,
no.
Well,
I've seen probably a dozen different social media creators. I call them content creators. They're out there doing freelance journalism, a better job than our actual media, I might add, in most cases. Boots on the ground, drones flying over it. They stopped the drones flying, I think, yesterday. They won't let them fly over and see it. And a lot of people are speculating, and this is just speculation. Right. They're speculating that it's because they're covering something up. I don't know about that. I just know that the way this has gone down, I mean, when is our government going to learn that we're not dumb anymore? Ever since COVID, We're not dumb anymore. We're going to
Well,
question everything.
Well, some of us are even dumber.
We, sir, but there's still a good.
I mean, the collective.
amount
I mean, as long as we are okay as a society to go to another source for information and cross check, that's intelligent. All right, is what I'm saying. I'm not just going to listen to CNN or Fox News or whatever
Fair
BBC. I'm not going to listen to that. In fact, my personal opinion, YouTube, but news outlets across the big pond do a better job reporting on our situation than media here in the States.
I agree.
Oh, I love Sky News.
Yeah,
Sky
it's
News
ridiculous.
is awesome. It's
And
hilarious.
I don't want to get on a tangent, but there was, so here's an interesting fact that I just learned today.
I love it when they talk shit about us.
The incident commander of the Las Vegas shooting, when that went down a couple years ago, several years ago, and there's all these big questions about it, they totally dropped the ball on how procedural was supposed to happen and everything on the internet. He is now the police chief of Maui. Same guy. And all this stuff's going on.
Wow.
Yeah. What a quinky dink.
Now, I don't know what that means.
Another coinky dink. There was a book that was written about the fire, and it was released. Ferris, am I correct? On the 16th?
I didn't catch the dates, but I know what you're talking about.
I think it was the 16th that the book was released. How do you have time to write a book, have it published, have everything done that quick?
And when did the fire actually occur again? What date was the fire?
It was I'll need to look that up. I'm not sure.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It was a few days before the release of this book. Was what she said.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's
like
what I'm
2
trying
days
to get
before.
at.
I think it was the 12th, but I would have to let me double check.
And it's like it's a book. It's not like a digital copy or.
Is there an episode of Simpsons that talks about this?
Oh, I'm out of my frame. Oh, that's a very good question, Nick.
Wah, wah, wah.
Interesting.
October 8th. So the Lahaina fire initially reported on October 8th.
October, it's August right now.
2,107. I mean, August. I'm sorry. 2,170 acres.
August and October are totally different.
Oh,
Very
for
different.
real?
Yeah, really. I'm sorry. That would make that book very controversial, wouldn't it?
Right.
But yeah, so the 8th. So 7 days to write a book, get it published, and then get it printed.
Negative.
It's awfully quick.
That's way fast.
I'm not gonna do it, but I bet you if you Google how long does it take to turnkey a book, probably more like 30 days, 15 tops. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a thing to what? How?
Well, I don't know, dude. You're talking about writing the book. How many pages is this book?
I don't know what that. I don't know how we. Let me see if
how big is this book? I want to know that.
He used AI to write the damn thing.
Well, that was one of the.
That wouldn't surprise me, bud.
That was one of the speculations. But even if the book was written by AI, it would still take so much.
You still got a process to get it to go
exactly. You
Speaking
gotta get a publisher.
Speaking of AI, I ran a test through Chat GPT and asked it to write a policy for my last job that I had. And it did such a good job that I actually utilized some of the content while I was writing this policy that I had to write. Dude, it was scary accurate. Scary accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I used, I used site specific location parameters of where I needed this policy to be applicable. basically told it to look up my workplace, and it was able to pull information that it was 100% nuts on. It was fucking scary. It was
So,
scary. And dude, it got it done in like 2.5 minutes.
So it's very possible that they could have used AI to do that. I mean, why not? And that would explain the expediency behind it, the book, I mean. But so this is from indie100.com. It is I've seen the website before, but I don't know how. I mean, anyway, I'll just read it. Since the wildfires started in Hawaii earlier this month, nonsense conspiracy theories about space lasers have been rampant on social media, but one of the weirdest phenomena related to the tragedy is currently happening on Amazon. A book called Fire and Fury, the story of the 2023 Maui fire and its implications for climate change by Dr. Miles Stones has attracted a lot of interest in recent days, thanks to it largely being published just 2 days after the fires began on August 8th. So it was published on the 10th, not the 16th, according to this. The book is a whopping 44 pages, and is currently listed as bestseller in the natural disasters section of Amazon. It goes on to say it's a story of the Maui fire and its implications on climate change, and it is a gripping and eye-opening account of one of the most devastating wildfires in Hawaii's history. The book chronicles the events of August 8th through 11th. So,
how long have the fires been
going on? It was published on the 10th. Listen. It said it was published on the 10th.
That math don't add up.
Yes, it says it was published on the 10th, but it chronicles the events from the 8th through the 11th.
Whoa.
How?
Because it wasn't a natural disaster, is what most people are speculating.
Wrote this shit before it happened.
But he chronicled a day
released it a day early
after he published it.
But you're missing one of the most vital points of that story and that website is that book is not about the fire. It's now about climate change.
I'm not missing that because all I think of was that guy was thinking money. Ching ching.
There's your motive.
That's interesting.
Now,
how are you gonna that?
Let's not forget about the people that died. Right, the tragedy. They're still fine. They don't even know what the number is going to be. And here's the saddest part about it. Because of the storm, because of the weather, the schools shut schools down. Parents still had to work. So you had kids at home in these areas that had no clue what to do. And you've seen wildfires in California, Brandon. It's freaking scary. Yeah. So what are kids going to do? They're going to hunker down and stay in their home. It's a safe place.
And they did not utilize any kind of alert system.
No, they have a hurricane thing. And I mean, it's just. I heard that. And so you go back to the guy that was the incident commander of the Las Vegas shooting, and he's now in place there. So is it because he's incompetent? Right? Because he kind of proved that with some of the questions that come out of that event in Las Vegas. Or is it because there's something more going on? Obviously, things didn't go right. You could say the same thing about Katrina, but that wasn't a man-made thing. Who can make a hurricane, right? That really happened, but it was the way they handled it that the post action.
We've talked about the artificial weather systems that they have there.
Sure. But, I mean, that's a stretch of the imagination to try to say that event was created by man. The bigger problem was what FEMA and the governor at the time and all that didn't do and how they handled it. Now, I'll give you this. Being in Louisiana, I know for a fact the people that were involved in that, the citizens, were assholes too. I mean, it was all around a drop of the ball for everybody. I mean, because mainly some of the citizens were they didn't get out when they were told to. They could have. And then they wanted handouts and things because everything was devastated. So I don't have sympathy for people that can't take care of themselves and then turn around and rely on the government to help them when they had every opportunity to do so. Some did not. I get that. Nursing homes, people with disabilities, very, very rural, poor areas had nowhere to go. I get that. But that wasn't all the people that's not just the people during Katrina that had a problem. So all that to say, the post reaction, the reaction to that by the government and by the government agencies and by the local government sucked balls. So what's going on with Las Vegas shooting, and then now that where this guy's connected in Maui? Anyway.
Yeah, one of these things just doesn't belong here.
One of these things just doesn't
Well,
belong
you know,
here.
the caveat on what I was saying earlier about how there's so many things going on at the same time. It seems like it's purposely an effect of like now's the time to push whoever's got some shit they want to push, they're gonna push it.
Yeah, it's like the alien thing that came out. I'm sure the alien's like, no, don't mention our name. We don't want anything about no, we're leaving. We're not gonna be we're not gonna even show our face.
Oh,
We
you
got
mean
too much
Nancy
going on.
Pelosi? I mean,
Good Lord.
I didn't finish what I was saying.
On a new note, has anybody drank coconut water?
I
No.
have.
Nasty.
Oh, that stuff is so
Negative.
damn good.
No.
It is lovely.
No, it's not nasty.
My class challenged me today to pack on 15 fucking pounds by October 12th, though. So since you mentioned something that sounds like it would be quote unquote possibly healthy-ish, I've got to think about that. So
Why
it's
would you
healthy.
not push that back to like
I love it. It tastes like raw coconut.
November 31st? Because Thanksgiving's coming and you can really do it then.
no, we've been doing a big it's my fault.
Sounds right.
It's always
My
your fault, Brandon.
overall
That's
we
the
were
best
talking about
minutes of guilt I've ever
pre-show.
seen.
We were talking about it pre-show. My overall personal physical fitness and my overall health has been rapidly depleting the last couple of years doing the job that I was doing. And now that I'm back in the classroom, I'm excited to have time again. I'm excited to be able to fucking work out again. And physical fitness is part of the program that I teach. And I've been teaching them about fitness and nutrition and all that other kinds of good jazz. And they learned about bulking and cutting and lean bulking and intermittent fasting, carb
What kind of
cycling,
milking?
all this shit. Cats primarily.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They brought it up today, and they want to see me gain about 15 pounds. They asked me to weigh myself, so I did. Factor in about 6-7 ish pounds for clothing and shit in your pockets and whatnot. And we came to the determination of about 185. And they're like, Mr. Metz, you should bulk up, get up to 200, because they want to see if it's possible, right? They want me to prove what I've been talking to them about. And it's like, fuck, I missed this because I think I've shared with you guys before. I had a class years ago where I lost 30 pounds in a month, and then I gained 27 of it back the following month, right? And I'm excited. But like I said, it's my own damn fault because I got a little too gung-ho.
Now you're gonna have to practice what you preach.
It's gonna be hard because I've been trying to lose my belly, and now I gotta gain 15 pounds without getting a bigger belly. So we'll see.
I mean, you got to carve out time to actually hit the weights and all that.
Oh, dude, I've been hitting them on lunch every single day.
Well, hitting them ain't gonna do shit. You got to lift them.
Yeah, that is true. That is
so
true.
you mentioned before we end this show, before we get out of here, I do want to ask, y'all both have a similar story of recent past where your particular jobs you were doing kind of ended and the emotional toil and all that physical toil maybe. So how is that now? And if you want to give a little background, Nick, if you want to start with you, I know your job that you had just finished was, well, for those listening and not or watching, we all have real jobs.
Nick has that face like, no.
Right. I wish I could have taken a break like Nick did.
I had to. Dude, it was what?
Lucky.
Like, it was about 3-4 days after I finished, and then I just went, poof. Everything hit.
Yeah.
Because now you're stagnant. You're not up and going, and and it's from all standpoints, mentally, physically, sore as hell and everything else, but you don't notice it because the next day you're up and you get to working and then you loosen back up again.
Yeah.
Mentally, you're all but then you get focused on the job, so it kind of goes away. then you're done and you're just sitting there and you're thinking you're done and then you're just, chilling.
So anybody
Yeah.
watching or listening, if you're wondering why we hadn't been doing podcasts as normal, it's all Nick's fault. He had to take a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a
And it had
vacation somewhere in there.
nothing to do with the rest of us.
Not at all. All Nick in his bearded gloriness.
Dude,
That's why
the
we-
stress and everything it created, I ended up with GERD, man. Major acid reflux. Like, thought something was wrong with
No
me. It was
thanks.
so bad.
No
That's when the
thanks.
coconut water came in because it soothed it.
Oh, good.
You know what
It
else
made
will
me-
help that?
He loves his nut juice.
Is vinegar.
Well, apple cider vinegar to be specific.
Yes, I was gonna say if you get a bottle of apple
have
cider
it.
vinegar with the mother, you can take if you got really bad heartburn,
With the
you can
mother.
take a
With the
shot
mother.
Mm-hmm.
of that. It
With
burns
the mother.
It
going
burned.
down, but
up on
it
the
will
mother.
get rid of your
Me
acid
too.
reflux in a minute or less, and then you can
Guess we'll
actually
never
lay
know.
down in bed and go to sleep.
I actually ate salad with apple cider
It's
vinegar.
me and you having a conversation.
Oh, it's just
Um,
us, Ferris.
I drank coconut water because it soothed the burn. Drank turmeric tea because it helped everything heal.
Yeah.
This
And I
is
ended
not
up
a health.
falling in
This
love with
isn't a health
turmeric tea.
podcast.
Not at all.
I had the whole thing. It made me end up eating and doing some healthy stuff I've been wanting to
He's
do.
talking about beating something.
I- oh my goodness, Ferris.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
Nick's trying to be all serious, Ferris.
I know he is. I'm horrible. I'm gonna mute now.
It's weird watching Nick get serious on the podcast, though. I like it.
Y'all don't need to be. Y'all don't need me to outro.
But you dealt with that, plus all my arms and my shoulders and everything were started hurting.
Oh, I
Flipping
bet, dude.
shit, man.
Yeah. I didn't have anything like that as far as like internal stuff going on, right? Like acid reflux or GERD or any of that kinds of jazz. And for me, like, I genuinely 100% absolutely love everything about what my job was for the last 2 years. That's why I teach people how to do it, basically, right? My problem is I have a tendency of being like a workaholic, I guess, and being in a position like that, which is quite frankly of importance. My boss, the person who actually is like the head honcho of our facility, stated it in a meeting one time in front of all of the leadership. He's like, Mets just ain't got no off button. Because, dude, I mean, the phone would ring, my work phone would ring at 3:15 in the morning. Hey, we got this going on, and I just laid there for the last 6 hours, can't turn my brain off thinking about everything I had just done the day before. I'm going to sleep now for maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's 3:15 in the morning. I get a phone call. Okay, I'm on my way. In the moment, in the position, it never bothered me. But bro, like you said, it was 3-4 days later after the fact when the job was done that this really started hitting you. Dude, it was my second week, the start of my second week as the quote unquote substitute, right? Because the whole reason I went back to the classroom is because that instructor found something else and I stepped in to finish the class. And it was only supposed to be temporary. It was an 8-week deal. But by the start of the second week, that Monday, I'm like, nope, this is it. This is where I belong. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I feel like shit. I look like shit. I go to bed crazy tired, but I wake up exhausted. This just,
Yeah, I still do.
I'm not healthy.
Dude, we had podcasts where you got on and you looked like freaking a zombie, man.
Yeah, bro. We've recorded episodes where I wasn't even fucking present. I wasn't hardly there at all. I was basically sleeping with my fucking eyes open. You know, in the moment, I didn't realize that it was taking such a toll. Looking back on it, I'm going back was probably the best professional decision of my career. Yes, it's a step backwards, you know, on the corporate ladder and all that kinds of stuff. But bro, I come home and I have the energy to play with my kids. You know, I can have conversations with my wife again, whereas before I was just giving her the Neanderthal grunt. Yeah. What do you want for breakfast, honey? Are you awake yet? Hey, remember we got so and so's birthday party? You know, like
I'll be working.
right. I'm happier. I'm more energetic. I'm back to working out. Britt and I actually had a good conversation a couple weeks back. We're both on healthier foods and whatnot. I mean, dude, bro, I was eating fast food like fucking 5 days a
Mr. Mickey
week,
D
multiple
over here.
meals, and it was fucking terrible, dude. Spending money out the ass on fucking food.
Same.
Overall, much happier. There, I've got like zero fucking stress. Next week, Jacob's grandparents aren't available for pre-school care or after-school care because you know I drop him off at my mom and dad's every single morning, and then mom or dad takes him to school, drops him off, and then they pick him up in the afternoon. Next week, that's not available. So Monday, I'm taking Jacob to school. I told my boss, I'm like, I should hopefully be in about 9:30-ish, right at the start of second period. And then I also have to leave early on Tuesday and Friday because I got to pick him up. My wife's going to cover the other times. She looks at me and she goes, okay.
Nice and easy.
So then how is that a step
That's awesome.
backwards? That's a step
I'm
forward
like,
in life, dude.
Yeah, it's a step
It's
forward if you look
it's
at
a
the
step forward. It's a step forward for my personal life.
It gives you balance.
But
yeah.
on the corporate ladder, so to speak, right? I went from, you know, up here with management and leadership and all that back to line staff. And the reason why I wanted to mention it is because I think it's very important. And I think this is a lesson that a lot of people can learn, not just from my experience, but I mean, you can go on LinkedIn and all these other places where people talk about it. Your career progression, when it comes to your career progression, too many people get focused, I think, on titles and finances and, you know, chasing that next dollar and this and that and the other, responsibilities, yada, yada, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, I preached this for years, and it took me stepping back to realize how much of a hypocrite I was being. We work to live. We don't live to work.
If you have
That's
a choice.
That's something that I was telling my staff when they needed days off. Hey, we work to live. We don't live to work. Do your thing. Be with your family.
you were
like
living
I
to
said,
work, man.
I was the one that was going in to cover their fucking shift, missing out on shit with
They
my
were
family,
they were
right?
living by that rule, but not you were forced not to be able to. So
Exactly.
not just that, not just
Exactly.
because they're in accessibility, but your employees, right? They were causing you to do that. But I remember you were talking about how, you know, money was a thing in your household where you had to take this opportunity to better your family. So
Had
yeah,
to.
and now you're weighing out, okay, what's really important. I think everybody gets that bridge and decides to cross it or not. I think that's what you're.
To be honest, I took a pay cut going back, but it's a significant pay raise from where I was 2 years ago in the same position. Significant pay raise. because I told him straight up. I said, if I'm going to go back, which I feel I need has to happen, I've got to at least get this number right here in order to make it work. And I had a real good sit down heart to heart with my boss at the time. He's not my direct boss anymore. And he looks at me and he goes, okay, done. Like that, dude. Like it was nothing. He literally, these were his words. He goes, go home, talk to your wife, come up with the number, see me tomorrow, tell me what the number is, and we'll have a chat. Okay. So I did. Came home, talked to Brett, came up with a number, went back to him the next day. So you talked to your wife? I did. And I started saying something, and he goes, Vince, bud, what's the number? I told him the number. He goes, done. I got you. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about the whole finances thing now, because that number, it's not what I was at, but
it covers you.
It's a livable fucking number.
My dad.
That's awesome.
I know I mentioned my dad earlier, and this is one of the things he told me was, our kids are a legacy, not our job, because the job's going to forget you. You know, I mean, that weighed on me, and I don't think we always do a good enough job of spending time with family, because we do have to try to balance it. There is a balance. We have to pay bills, right? That's just the way it is. But that's true. Every job I've ever had, it's been like, okay, if people leave, they're great friends, coworkers, whatever. I've experienced that in 15 years, almost 16 with this company. When they leave, they leave. I don't talk to them. I mean, there are very few that I talk to.
Yeah.
And so it kind of puts things in perspective. Okay, well, I'm gonna do my job in this little small window, bust butt, get it done, and go home with my family. Take that hat off and switch gears and all that. And that's the ever striving thing. But anyway, I'm glad that
there's another takeaway too. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I've never heard a parent say they regret spending time with their children.
My dad.
I don't know. I got 8 kids. One of them I might
have. That if he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't have kids, because we ruined his life.
Now I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Sorry,
well, while you're remembering it, dude, there was one night.
No, it's because of you, Nick.
There was one night in the thick of all my shit. I woke up. I was asleep for about an hour and a half. I woke up, dude, to my back. And when I say my back, the whole thing, from the very tippity-toppity of my back, my shoulders, all the way to the very bottom, all my back muscles, every single one of them, all burning.
From the top of his back to the top of his crack.
Holy shit. Like, I could not get in a position where it didn't hurt. I was like, this sucks.
Buddy, welcome to how I wake up every single morning.
Well, I usually wake up with my shoulder, me, I got pains, but my whole back felt like, oh my God.
Every day. Every single day. I know that pain, dude. I figured out what I was gonna say.
I didn't like
it. With what Ferris was just talking about, when people go, they go, right? I think it's important for people to remember, we're replaceable at work, we're irreplaceable at home.
I think that's a pretty good way to end the show. That was
just
pretty
throwing
wise.
that out there. Oh, thanks. Like, subscribe, comment, share.
Be good people.
Head over to the online store. The rat infestation is over.
Stay tuned. This is going to be a great season. We're going back. Yoo-hoo!
We're going to have us some fun.
Yeah.
And remember,
we got Brandon. We got the Brandon back. He ain't sleepy time no more.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here, bitch. Let's go.
Don't forget to spay neuter your pets.
Thanks, Bob Barker.
The hell?
We're done. We're done.
With that.
Oh,
see y'all.
Be good.